The second exercise in chapter 6 uses contrast as a guide to working with color instead of harmony. I'm going to open back up the harmony one so we could just look for a second at how really different the impact of these two images is. When you see them side by side, the one on the left looks like more like it's exploding and robust and optimistic, and the one on the right with the muted colors that are harmonious with each other tends to diminish the energy or make the energy more subdued or calm in the image. It's something to think about when you're doing your work. I'm going to close those. So this is the final product we're looking for this time. And we're going to start with the same image as the beginning. Again, you can use an image from your own world, your family, if you want to, but be sure to change it to a grayscale image. And this is the dialog box you'll get if you're changing something to a grayscale image. That's just so that you can start with a gray image, but then once you begin, you need to discard the color information. We're going to add new color information by selecting the RGB mode, like that. And this is a different method for adding concentric shapes of color to an image. It comes out with a similar effect to what we did before, but it's just a different method. For a start, you need to make 3 new layers here in your layers menu. I'm going to do that all at once. Just click on the little button that says create a new layer and then name each of these layers. The bottom layer should be named blue. Double click on layer 2 and call it yellow. Double click on number 3 and call it cyan. Good. And you can hit return and that saves that. And the next thing we're going to do is go over to the marquee menu and select the elliptical marquee menu tool underneath the rectangle. We're going to make circles this time. Holding down the shift key, move your mouse from left to right and make as big a circle as you can in that space. And make sure you go back and select the blue layer. The layer is called blue. Next thing we're going to do is go down here in your tool menu to the color picker. On the top of the color picker right now I have black. I'm going to double click on it and that opens up a little color picker menu. And I'm going to navigate to a very rich blue color. There. And say OK. Now you'll see that that color is loaded inside your color picker. To apply that color, you want to make sure you still have your selection, your circle. Your blue layer is selected also. And then you're going to go Image, Fill. Edit, not Image, Edit, Fill. And a little dialog box will come up. And make sure that you select foreground color. Say OK. So there's the first circle. Now, similarly to the last exercise, we will not do that. Double click to save it. And then we'll make a copy of that circle. Command C, select the yellow and hit B. And now we have the same circle there but it's not yellow, it's blue. And now with the yellow layer selected, go Command T, and that will give you a little transform, the ability to make it smaller by transforming it, and double click on that and drag it down to size, and then double click on it when it's saved. Now we need to select that circle You can select it by holding down on the Command key and click on that layer, and we're going to change the color. So did you get that? You hold down on the Command key. I can deselect. I want to reselect it. Hold down on the Command key and click on that layer, and that will always bring you back your selection. I'm going to go back to the color picker and pick a yellow, bright yellow. Go OK. And finally, edit, fill, foreground color. Now I have my yellow. And then we can do this again. We can do it in a different way. We can go Command C and copy that yellow. Select the cyan layer and go Command V or paste and paste it down. And once again, make a selection by holding down on the Command key and clicking on the layer thumbnail. Using select, transform selection, I can hold down on the Shift key and make that inner yellow circle smaller. And you see how I'm using the corners as a guide so that they all fit in equidistant places within the other circle. Now I have 2 yellow circles, and so we'll do the same thing just to change that color. First, double click to save your transformation. Go to the color picker, double click on it, and we're looking for cyan, which is a kind of a greenish color. Or we could pick another color, it's up to you, something with a really strong contrast. What is cyan? I think it's more like this. And now I have it selected here. I have the top layer selected. My selection is active with the marching ants. And finally I'll go Edit, Fill. It'll ask me, do I want the foreground color? Yes, okay. And there it is. So now we have this kind of target effect on top of the photograph, but we can't see anything. So the last thing that we need to do is make each of these layers transparent. There's a few ways we could do that. We could just change the opacity. And what's interesting when you're working with layers that are become transparent is then you can see that they also start to combine with each other. But they still do not let us see through to the image in the back. So in this case, instead, we're going to use one of the blend modes. So I'd like you to just select each one of these layers and change it to color. 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 And once it doesn't, you can't see it until you've done it with all of them. And there we have it.